All right, good, thank you. I guess he knows I'm the one with the most history. I go back to the day when President Clinton announced that he was going to do his health care reform. This is February 1993. And the way that he was going to pay for that was by eliminating Section 936 immediately and collecting, I think the estimate at the time was like $6 billion a year from these 936 companies. I was, at the time, Commissioner of Financial Institutions for Puerto Rico, and Governor Pedro Rosselló asked me to lead a team to lobby Congress to keep Section 936. So I knew all the arguments, but the Treasury Department was not going to give Puerto Rico the benefit of the doubt. And my argument was, or our argument was, you're not going to get a penny from the elimination of Section 936 because you're going to get all those people out of here. They're going to move to Ireland, they're going to move to Singapore, they're going to move to China, and you won't get a penny. Well, that's the way Congress works. And going back in history, when we say we started this whole thing with Section 936, I have to agree with Antonio, who said we've got to blame Congress. I could go further down and say, well, it was a project of the administration, Clinton administration, and so on. But at the time, under the Rosselló administration, we were able to get a 10-year extension of Section 936 between 1996 and 2006. So we did have 10 years to prepare. And I would also have to say that the percentage of production, even though we have lost employment to Section 936 companies, their percentage of participation in the industry, in the GNP or GDP, however you want to measure it, has remained about the same. Reason for that? Efficiency. Something that private sector could do. They get more efficient, they have less employees, but they produce the same amount or even more. And I think that's what we're referring to, that perhaps in the structural problems that Sonia was saying, the government should try to imitate. I think if we were to look at factors that have been mentioned, transparency. I also sit on the board of a group out of the University of Turabo called the Center for Government and Corporate Governance and Transparency. We have been studying what is going on. Municipalities, 78 municipalities, only 5 of them qualify within international standards as being fiscally responsible. 5 out of 78. So yes, there is a lot of problems. I'd like to comment a little bit on the borrowing. When you look at the $70 billion, I think Sonia mentioned 20 billion is from the PREPA, PRASA. Well, you forget that also every year there is an imbalance in cash flow. So the crisis of cash flow that we're seeing right now, the defaults of last December, the defaults in payments this May, have to do with the fact that markets have closed to Puerto Rico and that the usual $1.5 to $2 billion borrowing that is done at the start of every fiscal year did not happen this year. We were not able to borrow the funds. The government tapped into monies from the state insurance fund, and I think ACA not only raised about $400 million, so we're still a cash flow imbalance of $1.6 billion. That, as I said, if you can't do it every year, then you're going to be left behind, and that is a real crisis that we right now have.